Mommy. Welcome to Nighty Night Stories. Today, we're going to hear a wonderful bedtime story. Are you ready? Let's get started.
The Magical Sandcastle. On a picturesque beach with golden sands and turquoise waters, Emma, a young girl with a vivid imagination, loved spending her days building elaborate sandcastles. Emma's sandcastles were not ordinary. They were grand creations with towering spires, intricate moats, and sprawling walls. The beach was her kingdom, and her imagination brought it to life. One sunny afternoon, as Emma was building a particularly impressive sandcastle, she discovered a small, golden shell buried in the sand. The shell sparkled with enchanting markings and emitted a soft, warm glow. Emma was intrigued and decided to keep the shell as a special treasure. As Emma held the golden shell, she noticed a change in her sandcastle. The towers began to grow taller and more majestic, the moat filled with shimmering water, and the entire structure was adorned with sparkling shells and precious gems. Emma's imagination seemed to come to life as her sandcastle transformed into a magical palace. The palace was filled with dazzling turrets and gleaming walls. Emma explored every corner of her enchanted castle, discovering hidden rooms and secret chambers. The palace seemed to have a life of its own, with magical energy emanating from the golden shell. Emma felt like a queen in her own fairy tale world, and she delighted in the castle's wonders. As the sun began to set, the golden shell's glow started to fade, and the magic of the castle began to wane. Emma carefully placed the shell back in the sand, and the castle gradually returned to its original sandy form. Though the magic was gone, Emma cherished the memory of her incredible adventure and the special treasure that had made it possible. Emma continued to visit the beach, always hoping to find another magical treasure. Her sandcastles remained a testament to her creativity and imagination, and she looked forward to future discoveries. The golden shell had given her a glimpse of magic, and she knew that the world was full of wonders waiting to be discovered. The Lost Moonbeam. In a quaint village nestled between rolling hills and lush meadows, there was an old legend about a lost moonbeam. The villagers believed that this moonbeam had the power to bring light and happiness to anyone who found it. Every month, during the full moon, the villagers would search for the elusive moonbeam, but it always seemed to remain hidden. One clear and starry night, Fifi the firefly noticed something unusual. The moon, usually bright and full, seemed to be missing a part of its light. Fifi was a tiny creature with a heart full of courage, and she decided to embark on a quest to find the lost moonbeam and restore the moon's full glow. Guided by the gentle light of her own tiny glow, Fifi ventured into the dark forest. She fluttered through the trees, her wings casting a soft glow in the darkness. The forest was quiet, and the only sounds were the rustling of leaves and the distant calls of nocturnal creatures. Fifi met various animals along her journey. The wise old owl, perched high in a tree, suggested that the moonbeam might be hidden where light and shadow met. The playful raccoons, who were known for their curiosity, hinted that the moonbeam might be near the edge of the forest where the moonlight was faint. Following these clues, Fifi reached a secluded grove where the moonlight and shadows danced together. There, entangled in a delicate spider's web, was the lost moonbeam. It shimmered softly, trapped but still glowing with magical light. Fifi carefully freed the moonbeam from the web, her tiny wings fluttering with determination. As she guided the moonbeam back to the sky, the moon's light grew brighter, and the village below was bathed in a warm, gentle glow. The villagers looked up in awe, celebrating the return of their magical moonbeam. Fifi felt a sense of pride and joy as she watched the moonlight illuminate the village, bringing happiness to everyone below. With her mission accomplished, Fifi fluttered around the village, sharing her light and joy with the creatures she met. She continued to watch over her home, ready to help if the moonbeam ever needed rescuing again. The village was filled with gratitude and celebration, and the Lost Moonbeam's return was a reminder of the magic that could be found in the world. The Enchanted Garden. In a small village, nestled between the hills, there was a garden unlike any other. It was known as the Enchanted Garden, a place where flowers bloomed in colors no one had ever seen, and the air was filled with the sweet scent of magic. One day, a curious little girl named Lily wandered into the garden. She had heard tales of its wonders and couldn't resist the urge to explore. As she stepped through the ivy-covered gate, the flowers seemed to sway gently as if welcoming her. The garden was filled with plants of every shape and size, some glowing softly in the sunlight, others twinkling like stars. Lily marveled at the sight, her eyes wide with wonder. She followed a path lined with sparkling pebbles, each one lighting up as she stepped on it. The path led her to a beautiful fountain in the center of the garden. The water danced in the air, forming delicate shapes of animals and flowers before splashing back into the pool below. Suddenly, a soft voice called out, "Welcome to the Enchanted Garden, Lily." Startled, Lily looked around but saw no one. "Who's there?" she asked, her heart pounding. A small, glowing butterfly fluttered down and landed on her hand. "It's me," the butterfly said with a gentle smile. "I'm the guardian of this garden." Lily couldn't believe her ears. "You can talk," she exclaimed. The butterfly nodded. "Yes, and this garden is full of surprises. It's a place where magic lives and dreams come true." As they talked, the garden seemed to come alive around them. The flowers danced to a melody only they could hear, and the trees whispered secrets to the wind. Lily felt as if she had stepped into a dream. The butterfly led her to a hidden corner of the garden where a small tree grew. It had silver leaves that shimmered in the light and tiny golden fruits that glowed softly. "This is the tree of dreams," the butterfly explained. "Each fruit holds a wish, and if you pick one, your heart's deepest desire will come true." Lily gazed at the tree in awe. She reached out and gently picked a golden fruit. Holding it close, she closed her eyes and made a wish. As she did, the garden around her seemed to glow even brighter, and the air was filled with the sound of laughter and joy. When she opened her eyes, the fruit had vanished, and in its place was a small, silver key. The butterfly smiled. "This key will open a door to a special place, a place where your wish will come true." Lily thanked the butterfly and, with the key in hand, she left the garden. As she walked home, she couldn't stop smiling, knowing that the magic of the Enchanted Garden would always be with her. Little Star's Night Journey. High above the world, in the deep, dark sky, lived a tiny little star named Twinkle. Twinkle was smaller than all the other stars, but she had the brightest and most curious heart. Every night, she would twinkle happily among her star friends, but she always dreamed of seeing what lay beyond the sky. One evening, as the moon began its gentle rise, Twinkle noticed something different. The sky seemed to be calling to her, and she felt a pull, like a gentle breeze, urging her to explore. Gathering her courage, Twinkle decided to go on an adventure. With a soft glow, she floated away from her usual spot in the sky and began her journey down to earth. The wind carried her gently, and she passed by the tops of tall trees, the peaks of mountains, and even the flowing rivers that sparkled like diamonds in the moonlight. Twinkle marveled at the world below. She saw animals nestled in their cozy homes, children tucked into bed, and flowers swaying softly in the night breeze. Everything was so beautiful and peaceful. As she traveled further, Twinkle noticed a little cottage nestled in a meadow. A soft light was shining from the window, and she felt a warm, welcoming feeling. Curious, she floated closer and peeked inside. Inside the cottage was a young girl, sitting by the window with a book in her lap. She looked up at the sky with a wistful expression, her eyes searching for something. Twinkle could see that the girl looked a bit lonely. Wanting to bring a little joy to the girl, Twinkle gently floated through the open window and hovered above her head. The girl, noticing the soft glow, looked up in surprise. "A star," she whispered in awe. Twinkle twinkled brightly, happy to have made a new friend. The girl smiled and reached out her hand as if to touch the little star. "You're so beautiful," she said softly. "I wish I could always have a star to keep me company." Twinkle danced around the room, casting a soft, comforting light over everything. The girl laughed with delight, feeling less lonely than she had before. She watched in wonder as Twinkle lit up the dark corners of the room, making everything seem magical. After a while, Twinkle knew it was time to return to the sky. She floated gently back toward the window, but before she left, she wanted to give the girl something special to remember her by. With a small burst of light, Twinkle left behind a tiny star-shaped charm that glowed softly. The girl picked up the charm and held it close. "Thank you, little star," she whispered. "I'll never forget you." Twinkle twinkled one last time, then floated back up into the night sky, her heart full of happiness. She knew that she had made a new friend, and she promised herself that she would always watch over the girl from her place in the sky. And so, every night, the girl would look up at the sky and see Twinkle shining brightly, knowing that her little star was watching over her, bringing her comfort and light. The Singing Tree. In a quiet forest, where the leaves whispered secrets and the streams hummed gentle tunes, there stood a very special tree. This tree, unlike any other, had the gift of song. It was known throughout the forest as the Singing Tree. Every morning, as the first rays of the sun touched its branches, the Singing Tree would begin to hum. Its leaves would rustle and sway, creating a melody that filled the air with peace and joy. The animals of the forest loved the Singing Tree, and they would gather around it every day to listen to its sweet music. One day, a little bird named Pip, who had recently learned to fly, heard about the singing tree. Pip was curious and decided to visit the tree to hear its magical song. He flew over the treetops, following the sound of the music until he finally reached the clearing where the singing tree stood. Pip perched on a branch of the singing tree and listened in awe. The tree's song was unlike anything he had ever heard. It was soft and soothing, yet full of life and happiness. As the music filled his heart, Pip began to sing along, adding his sweet chirps to the melody. The singing tree noticed Pip's singing and felt a warm connection with the little bird. It adjusted its melody to harmonize with Pip's voice, creating a duet that resonated throughout the forest. The other animals stopped in their tracks, enchanted by the beautiful harmony. As the days went by, Pip visited the singing tree every morning. Together, they would create new songs, each one more beautiful than the last. The forest became even more alive with music, and the animals were filled with joy. One morning, as Pip and the singing tree were composing a new melody, a strong wind began to blow through the forest. The wind was so powerful that it bent the trees and scattered the leaves. Pip held on tightly to the branch, but the singing tree struggled to keep its melody going. Seeing the tree in distress, Pip wanted to help. He began to sing louder and stronger, trying to overpower the noise of the wind. The singing tree, inspired by Pip's courage, joined in with all its strength. Together, they sang a powerful and uplifting song that cut through the noise of the wind. The wind, hearing the strength and beauty of the song, began to calm down. The trees straightened up, and the leaves settled back into place. The singing tree and Pip had saved the forest from the storm with their music. From that day on, Pip and the singing tree were inseparable. They continued to create beautiful songs together, and their music brought even more joy and peace to the forest. The other animals admired their bond and the way they made the forest a happier place. And so, the singing tree and Pip sang every morning, their voices blending together in perfect harmony. Their music became a symbol of friendship, courage, and the magic of working together. The forest was never the same, and the memory of their songs lived on in the hearts of all who heard them. The Secret of the Rainbow Cave. Once upon a time, in a land where colors danced in the sky, there was a hidden cave known as the Rainbow Cave. The cave was famous for its magical secrets and was said to be filled with shimmering treasures that could only be seen by those with a pure heart. One sunny day, a curious little girl named Mia decided to find the Rainbow Cave. She had heard stories about the cave from her grandmother and wanted to see if the tales were true. With a small backpack full of snacks and a map her grandmother had drawn, Mia set off on her adventure. Mia walked through lush green meadows and climbed over gentle hills. The map led her to a forest filled with ancient trees. As she ventured deeper into the forest, she noticed that the leaves seemed to sparkle with all the colors of the rainbow. Her excitement grew as she followed the path marked on her map. After a while, Mia reached a large, moss-covered rock. According to the map, the entrance to the Rainbow Cave was hidden behind this rock. With a bit of effort, Mia pushed the rock aside and discovered a narrow entrance covered with ivy. Taking a deep breath, she stepped inside. To her amazement, the cave was illuminated by glowing crystals embedded in the walls. Each crystal shone with different hues, casting a beautiful light throughout the cave. Mia followed the path of light and soon came to a large chamber filled with dazzling rainbow-colored treasures. There were sparkling gems, golden coins, and glowing stones. But what caught Mia's eye the most was a shimmering, rainbow-colored cloak draped over a rock. It was said that this cloak could grant the wearer a single wish. Mia carefully picked up the cloak and felt a warm, gentle breeze wrap around her. She closed her eyes and made a wish from the bottom of her heart. When Mia opened her eyes, she noticed that the cave's entrance had magically been sealed behind her. She felt a little nervous but reminded herself of the tales her grandmother told her. The cave was known for testing the hearts of its visitors. Mia took a deep breath and decided to explore further. As she ventured deeper into the cave, she discovered a hidden door that led to a beautiful garden inside the cave. The garden was filled with vibrant flowers and glowing butterflies. In the center of the garden was a wise old turtle who greeted Mia with a friendly smile. "Welcome, brave traveler," the turtle said. "You have proven yourself worthy of the Rainbow Cave's secret. The true treasure of this cave is not gold or gems, but the courage and kindness you have shown." Mia felt a sense of relief and happiness. She thanked the wise turtle and took a moment to enjoy the magical garden. She realized that the adventure itself was the greatest treasure of all. With a heart full of joy and a new sense of wonder, Mia left the Rainbow Cave and made her way back home. She knew that the memories of her adventure and the lessons learned from the cave would stay with her forever. The Friendly Giant. Once upon a time, in a quiet village nestled between rolling hills, there lived a gentle giant named Gorm. Unlike the giants in fairy tales who were known for their frightening ways, Gorm was known for his kind heart and friendly demeanor. He was tall and strong, but he used his strength to help the villagers rather than scare them. Every day, Gorm would stroll through the village, greeting everyone with a warm smile. He helped with heavy tasks like lifting logs for firewood, fixing rooftops, and even picking apples from the tallest trees. The villagers loved Gorm, and in return, they would invite him to their gatherings and share their meals with him. One day, a terrible storm rolled into the village. The winds howled, and the rain poured down in torrents. The villagers huddled in their homes, worried about the damage the storm might cause. Gorm, seeing their concern, decided he had to do something to help. Despite the storm's fury, Gorm ventured out into the rain. He used his strong arms to protect the village's windmill, holding it steady against the gusts. He also helped to reinforce the walls of the village's old stone bridge, ensuring it wouldn't collapse under the weight of the rushing floodwaters. As the storm raged on, Gorm noticed that one of the village's barns was in danger of collapsing. Without hesitation, he rushed over and supported the barn's roof with his own body, shielding it from the worst of the storm. His bravery and strength were incredible, and the barn was saved. The next morning, the storm finally passed, and the villagers emerged from their homes. They were amazed to see that, thanks to Gorm's heroic efforts, the village had suffered only minor damage. They were incredibly grateful and wanted to thank their giant friend. Gorm, however, was nowhere to be seen. The villagers searched high and low, but he was gone. They finally found him sitting quietly by a stream outside the village, resting and enjoying the calm after the storm. The villagers gathered around Gorm and, with heartfelt smiles, presented him with a grand feast to show their appreciation. There were delicious pies, freshly baked bread, and lots of fruit. They also gave him a special gift, a beautiful hand-carved wooden statue of Gorm, made by the village's best craftsmen. Gorm was touched by their kindness. He thanked them and promised to always be there to help whenever they needed him. From that day on, the villagers celebrated Gorm's bravery and kindness with a special festival every year. They called it the Giant's Day, where they would share stories of Gorm's deeds and enjoy festive games and food. And so, the village thrived under the protection of their friendly giant, who continued to lend his strength and kindness to those in need. The villagers knew that they were fortunate to have such a wonderful friend, and Gorm knew that his heart was full because of the love and gratitude he received. Firefly's first flight. In a lush, green meadow, there was a tiny firefly named Flicker who was eager to explore the world. Flicker was about to experience her very first flight, and she was both excited and a little nervous. Her glowing body sparkled like a tiny star, and she fluttered with anticipation. One warm evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the stars began to twinkle in the sky, Flicker's parents gathered her and her little firefly friends for a special night. It was time for their first flight, a rite of passage for all young fireflies. Flicker's parents reassured her that it would be an enchanting experience, filled with magic and wonder. As dusk fell, the meadow transformed into a tapestry of glowing lights. Flicker and her friends took off into the twilight, their tiny bodies lighting up the night. The sky was filled with thousands of shimmering fireflies, creating a mesmerizing dance of lights. Flicker felt a rush of exhilaration as she joined in the spectacle. She flitted through the meadow, weaving between tall grasses and delicate flowers. Each time she fluttered her wings, her tiny light would shine brightly. She marveled at the beauty of the night, the soft glow of the moon, the sparkling stars above, and the gentle hum of crickets in the grass. As Flicker continued her flight, she noticed a beautiful, dark forest in the distance. Her curiosity got the better of her, and she decided to venture closer. The forest was dark, with only the occasional beam of moonlight filtering through the dense canopy. Flicker's little light was faint in the deep shadows, but she was determined to explore. Deep in the forest, Flicker discovered a hidden glade bathed in moonlight. In the center of the glade was a magical, sparkling pond. The water reflected the moon and stars, creating a shimmering display of lights. Flicker's eyes widened in wonder at the sight. She landed gently on a large leaf beside the pond, where she saw other fireflies gathered. They were having a celebration of their own, dancing around the pond and illuminating the water with their soft glow. Flicker joined them, her light blending with theirs to create a dazzling display. Flicker felt a sense of joy and accomplishment as she fluttered with her new friends. She realized that exploring and finding new places could be incredibly rewarding. The magical night had shown her the beauty of the world beyond her meadow. As the night wore on, Flicker knew it was time to return home. She bid farewell to her new friends and flew back to her meadow, her heart full of excitement and new memories. Her parents and friends were waiting for her, eager to hear about her adventure. Flicker shared her story with them, her eyes sparkling with excitement. They all celebrated her first flight with joy, proud of her bravery and curiosity. Flicker knew that this was just the beginning of many more adventures to come. And so, as the first light of dawn approached, Flicker and her friends settled down for a well-deserved rest. Flicker's heart was filled with the magic of the night and the promise of many more beautiful flights ahead. The Hidden Waterfall. Once upon a time, in a lush and mysterious forest, there was a secret waterfall known only through whispers and legends. This waterfall was said to be hidden deep within the forest, beyond the reach of most travelers, and it was rumored to grant a single wish to anyone who found it. The forest was a place of wonders, with ancient trees that seemed to hold the wisdom of ages and creatures that were as old as time itself. In a cozy little burrow beneath a grand oak tree lived Sammy the squirrel. Sammy was known throughout the forest for his insatiable curiosity and his love for adventure. Every day, Sammy would explore a new corner of the forest, always eager to discover something new. The tale of the hidden waterfall had intrigued him for years, and he decided that it was time to seek out this legendary place. Equipped with a small satchel of nuts, a map he had drawn based on old stories, and a heart full of determination, Sammy set out early one crisp autumn morning. The forest was alive with the colors of fall, and the leaves crunched under his tiny paws as he ventured deeper into the woods. Sammy's journey was not an easy one. He encountered various challenges along the way. The path was often obscured by tangled vines and thick underbrush. At one point, Sammy had to navigate across a wide stream using a makeshift bridge of fallen branches. Despite these obstacles, Sammy pressed on, driven by the hope of finding the hidden waterfall. As Sammy journeyed through the forest, he met many of its inhabitants. The wise old turtle, known for his vast knowledge of the forest's secrets, gave Sammy a crucial piece of advice. "Listen for the sound of rushing water," the turtle said. "It will lead you to the waterfall." The clever fox, who was known for her sharp wits, suggested following the patterns of sunlight filtering through the trees. "Look for the way the light dances on the ground," she advised. "It may reveal the hidden path." Following these clues, Sammy continued his quest. The forest grew denser, and the shadows lengthened as the sun moved across the sky. Sammy's determination never wavered. He followed the sounds of the forest, the rustling of leaves, and the whispers of the wind, all leading him closer to his goal. As dusk approached, Sammy heard a faint, rhythmic sound. It was the sound of water flowing over rocks, gentle and soothing. Sammy's heart raced with excitement. He followed the sound until he came to a dense wall of ivy. With a bit of effort, he pushed the ivy aside and found himself in a hidden clearing. There, in all its splendor, was the hidden waterfall. The water cascaded down in a series of sparkling tears, creating a mist that danced in the fading light of day. Sammy's eyes widened in awe. The waterfall was even more beautiful than he had imagined. The water shimmered like liquid silver, and the surrounding rocks were adorned with moss and delicate ferns. Sammy sat quietly by the edge of the waterfall, feeling a profound sense of peace. The forest seemed to hold its breath in reverence of this magical place. Sammy made a wish, as the legends had promised, hoping for continued happiness and wonder in his life. As he gazed at the waterfall's beauty, he felt a deep connection to the forest and its ancient magic. The stars began to twinkle in the evening sky, casting a soft glow over the clearing. Sammy knew it was time to head home. With one last look at the waterfall, he began his journey back. The forest seemed to guide him gently, the path illuminated by the moonlight. Sammy returned to his cozy burrow with a heart full of gratitude. The memory of the hidden waterfall would stay with him forever, a reminder of the magic that lay hidden in the world around him. And so, Sammy continued to explore the forest, always with a sense of wonder and an appreciation for the secrets it held. The Talking Book. In a quaint library nestled in the heart of a charming town, there was a book that had been left forgotten on a dusty shelf. This was no ordinary book. It had been enchanted by a kind-hearted wizard who wanted to share its magical stories with the world. The book had the unique ability to talk and tell enchanting tales to anyone who listened. One rainy afternoon, Lily, a young girl with a love for reading, wandered into the library. She was drawn to the old, dusty shelves filled with books of all kinds. As she explored the library, she noticed a particularly old book with a worn cover and faded gold lettering. The book seemed to call out to her, and as Lily picked it up, something extraordinary happened. The book opened on its own, and a soft, inviting voice began to speak. "Hello there. Would you like to hear a story?" Lily's eyes widened in surprise and delight. She had never encountered a talking book before. She settled into a cozy reading nook and listened as the book began to narrate a tale of a brave knight on a quest for a magical treasure. The book's voice was soothing and warm, drawing Lily into the story with its vivid descriptions and captivating characters. As the days passed, Lily visited the library regularly, eager to hear more from her newfound friend. The talking book enchanted her with a variety of stories, each one tailored to her interests. One day, it told a whimsical tale of a mischievous fairy who played tricks on the woodland creatures. On another day, it recounted the adventures of a young wizard learning to control his magical powers. The book seemed to understand Lily's emotions and moods, adjusting its stories to match. When she was feeling sad, it told heartwarming tales of friendship and bravery. When she was excited, it shared thrilling adventures filled with magic and wonder. Each story was a new adventure, and Lily cherished every moment spent with the talking book. One day, the book began to narrate a story about a girl who found a magical book that could talk. Lily listened with a sense of wonder, realizing that she was living out her own magical adventure. The book's stories had not only entertained her but had also inspired her imagination and filled her heart with joy. Lily's visits to the library became a cherished part of her routine. The talking book became a trusted companion, its stories creating a world of magic and wonder for her to explore. And so, Lily continued to visit the library, eagerly awaiting the next tale from her enchanted friend. The Lost Moonbeam. In a quaint village nestled between rolling hills and lush meadows, there was an old legend about a lost moonbeam. The villagers believed that this moonbeam had the power to bring light and happiness to anyone who found it. Every month, During the full moon, the villagers would search for the elusive moonbeam, but it always seemed to remain hidden. One clear and starry night, Fifi the firefly noticed something unusual. The moon, usually bright and full, seemed to be missing a part of its light. Fifi was a tiny creature with a heart full of courage, and she decided to embark on a quest to find the lost moonbeam and restore the moon's full glow. Guided by the gentle light of her own tiny glow, Fifi ventured into the dark forest. She fluttered through the trees, her wings casting a soft glow in the darkness. The forest was quiet, and the only sounds were the rustling of leaves and the distant calls of nocturnal creatures. Fifi met various animals along her journey. The wise old owl, perched high in a tree, suggested that the moonbeam might be hidden where light and shadow met. The playful raccoons, who were known for their curiosity, hinted that the moonbeam might be near the edge of the forest where the moonlight was faint. Following these clues, Fifi reached a secluded grove where the moonlight and shadows danced together. There, entangled in a delicate spider's web, was the lost moonbeam. It shimmered softly, trapped but still glowing with magical light. Fifi carefully freed the moonbeam from the web, her tiny wings fluttering with determination. As she guided the moonbeam back to the sky, the moon's light grew brighter, and the village below was bathed in a warm, gentle glow. The villagers looked up in awe, celebrating the return of their magical moonbeam. Fifi felt a sense of pride and joy as she watched the moonlight illuminate the village, bringing happiness to everyone below. With her mission accomplished, Fifi fluttered around the village, sharing her light and joy with the creatures she met. She continued to watch over her home, ready to help if the moonbeam ever needed rescuing again. The village was filled with gratitude and celebration, and the lost moonbeam's return was a reminder of the magic that could be found in the world. It looks like our little one has already drifted off to dreamland. May your dreams be filled with joy and adventure.